So, hello, beautiful MoteCon people. This is the re-recording of the session because apparently the audio was very, very, very evil. So, I'm gonna rehash everything in a quick video. So, um, welcome to MoteCon, and today I'm gonna be talking about feedback with forms, docs, Autocrat, obviously Mote. First, let's talk about me. Um, we're gonna do. I'm gonna share this with you. So anyway, don't worry about it. This eventually, I'm gonna give you a URL so you can copy the resources that I have up here. So don't worry about that. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the importance of feedback and how it can help us give better feedback to other people. So, okay, so my name is Luis Pertuz. I am a Google certified innovator and trainer. I've been in education for over 25 years. I am the co-founder of Global GEG. I'm also a data geek. I love working around with data and helping other people work around with data. Currently, I work in Colegio Marymount in Barranquilla, Colombia, as the data analysis and management guy. And Generally, people just help out, reach out, and I've done a lot of work with a lot of people, especially with stuff like this, with forms and sheets and stuff. So just hit me up. Um, okay, so fundamentals about feedback. So if you I'll talk about how feedback is very important to become better teachers or become better learners. Today I'm going to talk about pineapple charts. I don't know if you guys have heard of a pineapple chart, and especially why a pineapple. So let's start with that. Pineapples were once a very rare commodity, and having pineapples were a symbol of wealth. And if you offered somebody a pineapple, it was very generous of you, and you're offering them a lot that you can't necessarily live without because they were so expensive. So there is such a thing as a pineapple chart, and a pineapple chart is a way of teachers sharing their experiences with each other. So a pineapple chart basically is you throw up a your schedule, and in your schedule on a sign up sheet or something, you post what you're going to teach and when. And when you post this, it means that you're inviting others to come and watch you work. So it can be one of two things. You think you're awesome and you want other people to share and bask in your awesomeness, or you actually want people to help you out to see what you're doing and what you could be doing better. So it's one of those things. In the slides, you can see the sources of this. It comes from the Cult of Pedagogy, and it's really awesome. And the ID pineapple charts is really cool. So if you have a chance to like try them out, I really recommend it. So actually what you do is you throw up a pineapple chart, you get people to sign up, and then something like this. So you have your weekdays, and then you have your periods, and then you sign up where what you're doing, and then if people are interested in seeing you work, they can sign up. So you just basically leave your door open for people to come in and observe. So what's the use of people just waltzing into your room and just poking around and just invading your private space and not having somewhere or somehow to give you some useful and thoughtful feedback? So here is where forms and everything else pops in. So before we start into the minutia, it's certain things that I like to remind people when you're doing peer feedback. You have to be aware of what you're doing when you're observing. If you're looking to help the person or help yourself, because in this case it is peer feedback. We're not looking for like administrative feedback, which tends to be different. Yeah, observations, they tend to be different. Just be aware of the context of your role, what you're doing, what your dynamics is with that other teacher. If you're somehow his superior or whatever, that's going to affect the dynamics of the class. So it's one of those things that you really must bear in mind. Also, try and observe and try and be as friendly as you can. You're there to help. You're not there to punish, or you're not there anything to do anything else like that. If you're there to punish, please turn somewhere and go somewhere else, because this is not the activity for you. Pineapple charts are meant to be something friendly and for people to work together. So yeah, uh, and please, it's really important that whatever you're doing and whatever you're going to talk about with the teacher remains confidential, because you don't want to be publishing stuff all over unless like you're spectacularly proud of whatever is that's going on. But yeah, remind yourself you're a teacher too. You don't, we're all human. We make mistakes. it could be that you go and observe and it's like the worst class in the world because it's one of those days. Sometimes everything goes right, sometimes everything goes wrong. So, what do we do to get started? So, things to like keep a track of what's going on, and I use this for like normal teacher observation. Um, the first thing you have to do is like have a form where you can be discreet when you're going in and observing. In this case, I made the form in Google Forms, which is really nice and easy for me. And then that way you can fill out the form very discreetly. If you don't want to whip out your phone or a tablet or something, you can write stuff down and then just pass it over onto the form. I am going to show you guys a sample form, which is the one we're going to be working with right now. It's not really the form that you should be using. This is like a sample just so you get an idea of how all this works. And then I'm going to also prepare, and this you have to make the form bearing in mind the document that you want to remain after. You'll see what I mean in a second. And then you'll also have to be a teeny tiny bit familiar with Google Sheets, which is, I know, daunting for some people because people are afraid of spreadsheets. I don't know why. I frankly, me personally, I love them, but some people are definitely afraid of spreadsheets. And the Sheets extension that I adore above all others is Autocrat because it'll let you do a whole bunch of really, really interesting things. So let's get on with what we're talking about. So let's just check. Yeah. Okay. So first, we're talking about the form. So this is the form that I come up with. So it's a feedback form, and then this is pick up your email address. You're gonna write in who you're observing, and then there are different little things that like what did you like the most about being observed. And what's really cool is using Mote, you can also make this audible. So like for example, yeah. So you don't necessarily have to like write everything down. You could make everything in like just Mote snippets so people can actually listen to what you want to do. So you just prepare your form. Then, okay, so once you have this, we're going to also have a document that you're going to use to like keep a record of all these observations. So this is a very simple document, and you're going to see some fillers. This one, you'll see here date of observation, and then saying timestamp locked between like greater than or less than symbols. I heard someone call them angle brackets for some reason. I don't know what the proper name is. For me, it's greater than and less than. And then you're going to see that I'm also like this stuff between angle brackets or the greater than and less than symbols is merge templates. So these are places that are going to be filled out by Google Sheets, which is awesome. So we'll get into that in a second. So this is a very simple Mote observation form. This is the document that you're gonna get back at the end of the exercise. You're gonna keep all these and it gives you like some friendly reminders. It takes everything and puts it into one place. Now, for those of you who don't know, Google Forms, besides being a really cool way of making like forms and self-grading quizzes and all sorts of things, is also Google Sheets in disguise. For real. Some people don't believe that. Some people believe it's something completely different. No, actually, Google Forms without Google Sheets can't exist. So one of the really cool things about this is when you look at the responses, you can. I already filled this out once, so we see it work. And then all these responses actually are sort of in a Google Sheet. If you want to see this in a Google Sheet, the first thing you have to do is after you prepare your form, hopefully, if you want this to work automatically, like we're gonna do, you should do this before people start filling it out because it's gonna work anyway. But it'll work really. It will be actually a lot more cool. It's just people would fill the form out and then they'll automatically get a reply by mail with the document attached. But that's what we're gonna do anyway. So you hit here where it says View in Sheets, and then it's gonna complain there's no spreadsheet attached to this, or will it? Yeah, it won't. So I'm gonna say uh, unform because it for some reason it shouldn't have. And then I'm gonna say right now, okay, select the destination for responses, and I'm gonna ask it to create a new spreadsheet, and it's gonna create a new spreadsheet where all the answers are gonna live. So after it creates the sheet, what's going to happen is that I'm gonna have a brand new, fresh spreadsheet with all the information that's coming in from the form. So what we're going to do is, if you notice here at top, in the first row, let's just highlight everything on the first row. Let's make everything bold. Come on. So everything in first row. If you notice, I'm going to have here timestamp, my email address, and who you're observing, and what did you like most, and what did these are all of everything that's the questions in the form, but also it's the stuff we're going to fill out in our document that we already prepared. So in this way, what document shows its face again. Everything's in the spreadsheet. And each one of the columns is going to go and feed into the document. So whatever it says the question, the column says, what would you like to discuss or learn about after what you observed, this corresponds to actually this column in spreadsheet. So everything has a place in the document, which is really cool because everything's going to fill out very nicely. So first thing you have to do to make this work is we go over here to extensions, and then we hit here where it says Autocrat. If you don't have Autocrat installed, what you have to do is hit where it says add-ons and get add-ons. And normally when you do this, Autocrat is one of the main featured ones that's up there because it's so very popular. If it's not there, especially now that AI is all the rage, all you have to do is search for Autocrat. And then, of course, if you spell Autocrat correctly, it works a whole lot better. So if you search Autocrat, it's going to appear. It's the first one over here, this yellow thing, and then you just click and install it. Once it's installed, then you go extensions and then Autocrat, and then we launch. And then once we launch Autocrat, this full window is going to pop up. Inventory. Come on. Okay. Let's load it. Yeah, I think. Okay. So Autocrat's going to pop up. And then nothing to be there, which is exactly the way it's supposed to work. It's just loading. Let's get a second. Okay, so right now nothing's set up to work. So we have to click to begin. So we're gonna set up a new job, a new merge job. So now we're gonna call this MoteCon feedback samples. Okay, so we baptize this, we give it a name, and then I'm going to choose a template that I'm going to use to work with, which is this MoteCon pineapple chart observation. So I'm going to choose it from Drive. And since I've been working on it recently, it should be up here somewhere. And apparently it is not cooperating. So let's just look for MoteCon. Come on. You can do it. Okay, MoteCon pineapple chart. Yeah, this is my sample. So I'm gonna hit that. Now what it's gonna do is gonna open the file, and it's gonna look for all the merge tags that's in the file to see if it can find the corresponding columns in our form. So right now you're going to see that it says where it says timestamp, I'm going to map to the column timestamp, and what it's going to do is actually it's going to relate each and every one of the tags within the template to one of the columns if it finds it. So right now, timestamp, who you're observing, what do you want to do? So all this is working wonderfully. So next, now, since I'm going to generate a document for each one of these, I want to give each document a different name because I might be observing different people, or different people might be observing me. So what I'm going to do is right now, this blue flyout is awesome because this blue flyout will let me pick up the names of the different merge tags that we have available. So right now, let's baptize the future files. So MoteCon observation 4, and then colon, and then I want us to who you're observing, which is something I have to fill out in the sheet, and then I'm going to hit that. So then which type of file do I want? We can do one of two. We can do either Google Docs or PDFs. And frankly, in this case, since I'm going to use this as feedback, as a tool for feedback, I prefer Google Docs because I want to be able to edit this and to share it with the person. If I make it into a PDF, it's all fine and dandy, but PDFs are technically immutable. So it's better if you use Google Docs, at least in my opinion. And then multiple output versus single output is if you do multiple output, it means that it's going to generate one file per row in the sheet. If you do single output mode, it's going to output all the files, it's going to make one for each of the rows that's there, and it's going to append that to one big long file. And that works really well, but that's like awesome if you want to do like a mail merge that you actually want to print. In this case, since we're going to email and we're going to have separate files for each person, for me, it's better to have multiple outputs. Next, I'm going to put them all into the same folder. It's called MoteCon, so I know everything is in this place. If I were a little bit more organized, I would create a folder called MoteCon templates and just stick it there. But for now, it's not gonna be. It's just gonna be a sample, so it's not that bad. So next, dynamic folder references. This is something really cool if you have to do something a little bit more complicated. This means if you let's say you work for several schools, and depending on who you're observing or who's doing the observing, it'll go to a different folder for each different school. You could make it so that within your forms and your spreadsheet, there's a formula that comes up with the different folder links to the different schools. So you could have the same file created for everybody, but using this dynamic folder reference thing, it will file everything in the corresponding folder to the different schools. So if you have, or in my case, like for example, I do it with self-reflection for kids. I have a folder for each and every single class. So it has like a lookup feature where if it's from this student who's in this class, it'll stick it in that student's folder. So in that classes folder. So that's a little bit easier. But right now that's advanced. I'm not gonna even touch it because it requires some preparation. So let's just skip over it. Then merge conditions. This actually, technically, it's supposed to not be necessary, and this is only if you're doing some other type of merges. Like you can do these merges through like time triggers, so you can have this run every so many hours or something. That would mean that if you could have right now, the way we're gonna set it up is every time somebody fills out the form, it sends out email. But if you just want to send out emails every day or something for all the forms, then you could also do that. But that's what I normally like to do is I'd like to add a condition like, and the first one it suggests is timestamp is equal to not null. So that way, as long as this column right here is empty, it's not going to generate any merges for all of the rest of the columns. Sometimes Autocrat goes a bit nuts and it'll try and merge everything in the form in the sheet, especially if you have formulas to the left where you like calculate stuff or you make lookups or things like that, and there's a result that is temporary while the calculation for real occurs. Then Autocrat's going to try and merge everything, and it's going to be insane. It's going to fill your drive with useless know nothing documents. So it's better if you tell it to only do a mail merge if you're doing it through forms, if the timestamp is not null. Sometimes you can do like conditionals where if it's true, then it'll do the merge, but that's another issue entirely. Share docs and send emails. In this case, yes, I do want to send an email. So I'm going to share this editable doc with the person who's filling out the form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this blue layout again. So the email address that somebody gave me, I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to send out that message to that person. So I'm going to stick this here, and then I'm going to type in the subject, and the subject would be, here is your observation of, and then let's look up the person's name or the tag for the person's name here. Who are you observing? And then let's paste this here for MoteCon. And then just add a message where you're telling people that, hey, thanks for observing. Here attached, you'll find the document with your notes. Not notes. Done. Okay. So we next. Now, here's the really important bit, and this is what makes Autoc work. So we want this to run either, well, we can do it for both, but it's better if you do either or. You can either run it on a form trigger, which means every time a person submits the form, it'll tell Autocrat to do its thing, or you can run it on a time trigger, and then you'll tell it how often you want it to run its process. So I'm going to run it on the form trigger. And then it tells me you must enable triggers for the project. So do you confirm? So let's confirm. So it does actually work. And then if everything goes well, then notice that there's no more next. So we just hit save and everything should work beautifully right now. The applicable word is should. So right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to go to my form. I'm going to pull it out so you guys see how it works. So let's hit the preview. the preview. Come on. Come. Okay, so preview loading. And now we just fill it out. So I'm going to select my email address here. And then who are you observing? We're going to observe MoteCon. And then what did you like the most? Presenters, essential. Yeah. And then, of course, if I write my own name correctly, it's in there. If it went right. Over time, computer behaved. Sometimes it's sweet time to do stuff. And then, is there anything you had an issue with? I'm having issues with the keyboard. The one I have in front is in English, but the computer has it set up as Spanish. I get confused. If you would like to discuss about I'd love to learn. I'd love to learn more about Autocrat. Okay, so now I hit submit. And of course, it would be awesome if I actually Okay, so now we hit submit. Now, if we sneak a peek at the spreadsheet, we're going to see that my answers appear right now. And now Autocrat knows that something's going on. So you're going to notice that Autocrat actually adds extra columns right here. So it's adding these columns. And you can see here at the end that it's adding, it's starting a new the document was created. It was successfully merged. And then right now it's going to do the second one. First was a test. And now this one is one. And now everything should be somewhere. So if I go open my email, we're going to notice that I should have gotten an email from me. In the template for the email, it says, hey, thanks. But we can watch it anyway. So the person doing the survey actually filled it out, would get email. And then in the email, it's going to get the message with the beautiful mistakes. And here, thanks for observing. Here attached, you'll find the document with your notes, and you see the attached over here. So now if I open up, I'm going to get a chance to observe this wonderful document that we've come up with. Now, what's really awesome is if you're a data geek like me, all this information for all the observations is in your spreadsheet and your folder. So if you want to do like visualization or something with another tool, you can actually categorize everything and you're going to see everything that you put together. So if you had, so your whole like observation for your teachers in your school, in your district, you can like filter everything out according to teachers or to departments or anything. So it really works really well. And you can see the other thing really being awesome about sharing this with the person who did observation first is notice that you can correct mistakes like this instead of the printers and before you share with the person you're observing. So, but that's it. But you see this is really simple, it's really easy. Let's back to the presentation. In the presentation, I have links to samples for all these files that you've been seeing. They can download for yourself. You can check everything out. Give me 1 second while the presentation loads again. Yeah. So here's the resources. What's really cool about the resources is you're going to see that you have Autocrat, there's a little Autocrat right there. The presentation is on bit.ly/MoteCon slides. The document template is a bit.ly/MoteCon template. And then the sheets template, now I'm giving you the template for the sheet because the sheet automatically creates the form on its own. So if you click here on bit.ly.con sheet template, it'll create the spreadsheet and the form already there for you. So that way you get both at the same time. And right now it should have all the Autocrats already sorted in, so all you have to do is correct stuff, but it should work beautifully if you want to play around with it. And then I'd recommend you observe the learning zone, which we all out during MoteCon. And thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you guys. Bye.